Okay, thank you and welcome to the webinar. What we're trying to go over and going to present to you today is how FeeFighters, there we go, how FeeFighters save $270,000 a year on credit card fees without changing processors. This is for a client that we had in South Carolina who wanted to remain nameless, I think, because of embarrassment that we saved that much money. So what does FeeFighters do? We negotiate against your payment provider to save you the most money on payment processing. What we do is we essentially plug holes in your software, plug holes in your hardware if needed, and we also make sure that you aren't being taken advantage of. We first do this by taking a look at your statement, see what's going on, create a plan, then we'll negotiate for you. And this typically ends up being tens of thousands of dollars a year for customers. We'll also review chargebacks and other things like that. Make sure that you're compliant with all the rules and all the laws and all the stuff that is really not on most people's favorite thing to do list. So why do we do this? Well, Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest men in the world, says that you should always watch small expenses. So we think that we are out there helping you watch the small expenses. Now, why do you do this? Nope. That's one slide ahead. So our t-shirt case study. So we were reached out to by a client who had the highest rates I've ever seen of any client ever. They were paying literally a crippling 42% in fees. What that means is if they were making, and they were making about $100,000 a month, they were paying $42,000 in fees on that $100,000 in sales, which as a business owner myself, I can tell you is impossible to operate under because there's no money for product or staff or anything. And effectively what we did was we went in, we created a plan, and within 2 months, we were down to 7.9%, which is still very high. But compared to where he was in April when we first met, there was a huge, huge drop. And that's why we were able to keep him going. And another case study we have was and is 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They essentially had a business where they were processing with a big company, like a big processor that's well known, and they had flat fees. They thought they were getting the great rate because they had flat fees, and what we found out was they weren't getting great rates, and they weren't getting actual benefit with flat fees. The business had grown and almost tripled from when they bought it to then, and they literally were spending another $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year. That's a part-time employee. That's bookkeepers. That literally is the owner buying another car for himself if he wanted to. And the whole thing is, this is all very easy to get and all very doable. Another case study is a cafe in Baltimore. And what we did with them, they actually had pretty good rates, but we were able to push even further. If you look here, down to 0%. So they are paying flat wholesale interchange. And this is literally from Vivian Washington at First Data. So this is at their processor. This is an email from them. I just took a screenshot of, and 2 cents per transaction, which is really, really low. If you look at your statements, I'm sure usually numbers are 20, 30, 10, maybe sometimes, like a little bit lower than that, but usually you're not seeing anything that low at all. And we jump into the next slide. So Wedding Favors Unlimited. So Matt is a great guy, and he literally was called and was saying, there's no way that you can do better than I'm doing. I do a pretty good job. I beat up my processors pretty well, and there's no way that you can be doing more for me. We were still able to save him $350 a month or $4,200 a year just by calling in, figuring out what was going on. In our analysis, we uncovered some things that you wouldn't know if you weren't in the industry and didn't understand payments processing. And we were able to, again, save him $4,000 a year. So who is this for? And who do we want to work with? We're looking for businesses that have at least $500,000 in credit card processing and who want to keep growing. If you don't want to keep growing, you're dying, and we probably aren't a good fit for you. We also want to work with business owners who are trying to keep their costs in line and are listening to the Warren Buffett advice. And then if you feel like you're being confused, ripped off, or taken advantage of by high payment fees, we want to talk to you. And also, if you're fast growing, your needs change and things change fairly quickly, especially when you're growing quickly. And as a result, you're not going to pay attention to smaller things like payments, because if it works, it works. Our mission and why we do this really is because we want to stand up for small businesses. I'm a small business. My mom and dad each own small businesses, and my entire family are largely small business owners, which I believe is the backbone of the economy. I don't think because you're a small business, you should have to pay more and you should have to be taken advantage of. And we've found a place where people are really taken advantage of, both by lack of information and lack of transparency. So we said we're going to fix it by fighting for every small business. And that's why we can bring big company payment processing fees to small and medium companies. That's what we do, and that's what we love, because we feel like we're pushing against banks and able to get a better result. So who am I? I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. It's me and Austin at a mastermind about a month ago. And I've experience in the payments industry, in e-commerce, in food and food delivery. We manufactured jewelry for a while. I had a moving and storage company for about 15 years. I've done consulting work. And we essentially have taken on FeeFighters, which started in 2008. It's been in Bloomberg, Forbes, New York Times, Entrepreneur, Atlantic, a ton of blogs, both new and old. And we're here for you and been here for the long haul. So a lot of things that people look at in terms of truths are credit card processing companies make a lot of excuses to keep their rates the same. They make statements that are just there to make rates high. We had someone who we spoke to at Intuit recently who told me that it was illegal. It was breaking the law for them to look at their customer statements. So effectively, that would be the equivalent of you walking into a doctor's office and them saying that it was illegal for them to even open your file when you're a patient. How could you get any medical care? How would any medical care be received in this country if you never had a doctor look at a chart? It's just crazy. So just because a company tells you something doesn't mean that it is. And we essentially have become experts in untangling the myths, truths, things that are stretched and things that are just outright lies. We know what's possible. We understand the industry from being in it for many, many years. And we can start saving you money because we don't really fall for excuses, and we understand what is really something that can be changed and what's something that can't be changed. So another myth is paying a flat fee is cheaper. This would be something similar to your Stripes or other things. Well, not all processing situations have a one-size-fits-all solution. If you have only international business cards and you're processing them, you may end up having a flat rate that's better. However, with the exception of one company, which was doing close to $100 million in charges, I don't think a flat rate solution is for you. The reason why it was right for them is they were online and they had rates that looked like they were probably losing a fair amount of money for the processor. So if you look at Stripe charges 2.9% per transaction, assuming that you're not using their subscription fee. The subscription adds another 0.4%, which would be 3.3%. A debit card costs 0.05%. Okay, so that means that Stripe is making 2.85% on that transaction for a debit card. That's a lot of money and a lot of margin, and it's not fair because that's money that you're providing a service for and money that should be in your pocket, not theirs. So again, even if as I was saying before, if you do have a large number of international or rewards cards, a flat rate may be best. But quite often, we're not seeing that. Even in business-to-business transactions, construction supply, and things that are very, very large dollar tickets, we're still seeing that flat rates just don't make sense in many cases. So we'll review and take a look at what's going on in your statement and see what the best structure is for you. So if you are a not high-risk business, high risk is usually future delivery or not selling something concrete. So if you're selling coaching or things that are very sort of ephemeral, very much sort of like heady and not actually solid or concrete, similar to like this pen, then you're low risk. Low risk means essentially that your fees are much more negotiable than you might have thought. Most companies typically have a minimum profitability. So if you are a small business charging $50,000 a month, they want to make the same amount of money on your account as they would an account that's making a lot more. And we know typically what you should be paying based on your industry, based on the size of your business, based on what's going on. And we're able to negotiate and make things easier and guarantee results for you. So why can't I do it on my own? The answer is you can probably pause the webinar right now or leave this page and go do it and have some results on your own. But the answer is I have a dentist. I don't do my own dentistry. I have a lawyer. I don't write my own legal contracts. We live in a world where everything is so specialized. This is what FeeFighters focuses on all day, all night, is focusing on payments and focusing on better transactions and a better experience for you. So are you looking at your statements right now? Or are you like almost everyone I speak to who literally has unopened envelopes that are there because you know they're written in Sanskrit? You can't figure them out. And if you can figure them out, do you even have any options? We want to help all businesses, and we know that usually time is the biggest obstacle. Focusing on expenses is great when you save the money, but it isn't what makes you money. And what the best thing and best use of your time as a business owner and business employee is to go in and make money, not focus on the expenses. Let us focus on the expenses for you. So again, the steps are, we will negotiate better rates with your processors. We will essentially build a rate that's tailored to your business and cut through scare tactics, lies, and half-truths. So our goal is to save you money, and that's because we get paid based on a percentage of money that we save for you. So why should you use us? We have proven results. We've guaranteed savings. We speak the insane language of payments and banking. We've been around since 2008. FeeFighters has been around since 2008. And we know the credit card processing world inside, outside, top to bottom, and have spent countless number of hours sitting on the phone with different people and understanding exactly why things are the way they are. We can't change everything, but we can change things for you. Again, this is for businesses with $500,000 a year or more. So if you're at about $50,000 plus per month, we are looking to work with you. Technically 41,000 change a month. Companies that you're sick of high rates, getting confusing fees, if you're growing quickly, or if you want to keep your costs in line. So the benefits are you will be able to save money on payment processing. You'll stop wasting money and keep more profit in your pocket that can be used for either hiring people, put money in your own pocket and take your family on vacation, or do whatever it is that you want to do with that money, because you will save the time and the money. We're focusing again on removing unnecessary fees, reducing fees, and making sure that you're in compliance with all software and legal rules. We only look to take on a couple of clients per month. We max it out at 20 per month because we feel we can do an amazing job at that number. If we go above that, we don't think we have the staff right now. So we're only taking 20 people, and that's not a fake number. That is a hard number. So if you're looking to jump on this quickly, if there is no button below, that means that we have hit our cap for the month and we cannot take any more people. We guarantee your satisfaction, and the next steps are jump on board and be one of our successful clients, or you can keep it exactly the way you are and wonder at the end of the year when your accountant says, why'd you spend $50,000, $20,000, $100,000, many, many millions of dollars in fees? Well, why isn't that in your pocket? So the question is, are you going to keep paying the bank every minute, every second, every day, every hour? Because they're really happy with it and they're not going to call and change the rates for you. Only a company like FeeFighters can go out there and attack the banks for you, solve the problem for you, and get the money where it belongs, which is back in your pocket since you worked for it and you earned it.